Welcome. You are now listening to Click Click Play. Please enjoy.
Fight!
Hello, welcome to this is Click Click Play's very first ever Spoilercast. I'm your host with the most. Joining me, Jordan. Can we hear you? Is audio working? Say hello, Jordan. Oh wait, no. Wait a second. I know what I did wrong. Wait a second. Jordan, there you are.
Fucking seamless.
I changed.
Mechanical marvel.
Yeah, I changed the microphone to what I'm using. To what I'm not using instead of the headphones.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, thought just a little snippet.
What were you saying? What did we miss?
Oh, you missed some amazing stuff.
Did the people hear it? If we couldn't hear it, could they?
You'll have to download Jordan and listen to all the amazing stuff.
So it did record. Okay.
Good. Yeah, they recorded me. How is everybody? So this is a special. This is a spoiler cast. We've never done one of these before, but we're gonna spoil God of War. So if you've not played it before and you want to play it, or if you haven't played it yet and you might not want to play it, yeah, just go out and buy it anyway and play it. It's a really good game.
Yeah.
The boy doesn't die, so you're okay.
Spoiler alert! It's a good game.
Yeah.
So how are we stopping people from just randomly coming onto your stream and me saying something about God of War and then I spoil it for them?
There's no way to do that.
No.
So we're gonna destroy it for people.
Well, it says God of War Spoilercast. Spoilercast in massive capital letters, and then in brackets I put spoilers, obviously.
Oh, in the stream title, yeah.
Yeah. So if people click on it, it's their own fault.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So God of War. How are you doing, Melon? By the way, how's your hangover?
It's okay.
Yeah. I think I played.
Drinking a lot of water.
Yeah, I played. I think I played Fortnite better with a hangover.
Yeah.
Been playing
Did it go well today?
Yeah, I was playing solos and quite a few kills.
Nice.
Yeah. Jordan, how's your weekend?
Really nice. The weather's really good in the UK this weekend, which is rare. Went to a really nice wedding yesterday.
Not yours, not yet.
Not yet. No, one of my friends.
I thought it was yours.
No.
Hinting.
Okay.
And the missus has been away on her hen do. So when you saw her at the start of the stream, she's literally just got home. Looks like she's been scraped off the floor.
Yeah, like I said, I saw her being told off by a bouncer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Brilliant. Oh, still love her. Such having a great time. Anyway, speaking of great things, God of War. Eurovision? No, God of War.
What's like Eurovision stream about? Is it Eurovision time? Have I missed Eurovision?
Very close. I think we'll save that for the main podcast because we can talk about why Melon and I have hangovers and why I got loads.
But it wasn't Eurovision proper, was it?
And why I feel really awkward today.
Like, oh my god, there are so many clips. Yeah, guys, if you're tuning in now and you're like, oh shit, I don't want to get any spoilers, just go and click on the clips from last night. There are some really funny clips on there. All right.
Or not.
Brilliant. All right. So God of War. Jordan, what are your thoughts on it? You can tell us what you think. Spoilerific now. Spoilerific.
We can do spoilers now, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody in the chat, are you ready that we're going to spoil things? I really want somebody to be like, fucking spoil this. Okay, so I've got one word.
Yeah.
Got one word. Thor.
Boy.
Yeah.
Thor.
Not boy.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit, that was so cool. So obviously I kind of alluded to it on one of the shows without trying to spoil anything, but you get that kind of soft ending, which we'll talk about, which is incredible anyway. That whole end sequence just so moving. And then it kind of lets you back into the world. It's snowing, so the landscape looks a little bit different. This like 3-year winters arrive, which means that Ragnarok is apparently on the way, so that's kind of ramping up the tension. And it kind of spat me back into the world, and I'd seen the kind of the on-screen credits, but clearly it wasn't like the hard ending. I was thinking maybe they're just not, that they're not going to do a full-on credit sequence. And like I did a bit of a marathon to finish it, so I was like, cool, I finished it. I'm going to put this down for a day. And I thought, well, a nice way to kind of end it would be to travel back to my home
Yeah.
and just see if there's anything there. And even if there's not, just kind of save the game there and kind of leave it until I fancy doing whatever side stuff is left. So I traveled home, and I didn't like fast travel or anything. I kind of like manually traveled just to get the conversational pieces and just to end
It
it
was
quite
so
nicely.
hard for me to find the place. I couldn't remember where it was on the map, so I was like looking for it.
It's
for
like
half an hour.
It's surrounded by like yellow trees. That's what you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, travel back, go into the house, and because the game is so deliberate, I knew there would be something in the house. Because this whole journey thing that you've been on, and it totally makes sense just to go back to the start. And I don't know whether other people naturally did this, but I did. And I went back to the start, and you could interact with the bed, which basically was like, you know, we've been on a fucking ridiculously long and epic journey. We're gonna have some sleep, which is understandable, I think. And then that just kicks into a cutscene where I guess it's a vision, isn't it? It doesn't actually happen. I think it's a bit of foresight, and I think Kratos has a vision that the Thor turns up to confront them, and he was so fucking cool. Like, I'm not even that into all the Marvel stuff with Thor, but it's clearly borrowing some of the fanboyism from that stuff, like the way the Thor's portrayed, and even the axe in the game, like the way it comes back to Kratos.
Yeah, you just know that. And also,
definitely...
did you notice the axe had like runes and stuff on it? So
yeah,
you're going to be able to use the axe, I think, next game.
Or the hammer, do you mean?
The hammer, that's what I mean. Yeah, the hammer's got like runes on it, so people are thinking that, and especially with how you can use your axe and you're throwing it and it coming back, it would be just perfect for the hammer.
Yeah,
that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. From a high level, I would imagine that the next game, Thor's the big bad guy, and I would assume that at some point you do get that hammer, and that'll be cool as fuck. And then I would assume the third game, then you fight Odin, which I love. I think it's just so
that's
fucking
gonna be
exciting
the last game, yeah.
Nosk in the chat says, did Andre die? No, this statue here is Andre's. He's been to the gym this week.
He's been upgraded.
So yeah, I just thought that secondary ending was super 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 cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad you told me, because I don't know if I'd have actually thought about going back there. But I think he does mention like, oh, we should go home and rest. Yeah, let's go home and rest. So
kind of line that he says, yeah.
But I didn't like pick up on that, and I was thinking, oh, I might try and go to where I need to go and upgrade my axe and try and do all the 100% stuff, which I don't know if I will. I think I might do if I pick this game up again later on down the road, like before like the second one or the next one that comes out. But what would you call the second game then? God of War 2?
Difficult one, isn't it? No, I don't think.
It can be like God of War, Thor's Revenge, or something.
Yeah, I was thinking of something like that, maybe.
Yeah, I would guess it's a subtitle versus a number, because
Hammer Fist.
Because Baldur was his son,
already
wasn't
God
it?
of War 2.
Because they tried it with the others. They went God of War was like 1, 2, and 3, but then what were the other ones? The other God?
I think it's like Ascension.
Yeah, I can't remember all
the handheld ones of subtitles as well.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the second one. But then, like, there's potential for way more trilogies after this. Because I don't know if you probably saw it at the same time as me. What's the name of the guy who goes between the worlds? Goes from the lore. What's the name of that dude again? Mir or something like that, or Lear, or something like 3 letters. Tyr. Yeah, I think it's Tyr.
Yeah, Tyr. Yeah, it's the bull.
When you go into the place where he keeps his stuff, there's like that map, and it shows, and he's like, oh, look at there's fights between the gods, and you can see there's a symbol for Egyptian gods. There's the South American ones, then there's like an Asian one. So they've got a chance to like make another 9 games if they want to.
I think there's like a Celtic symbol there as well.
Celtic gods. That would be.
Which is interesting. You've got to assume that the next one would be Egypt, I would guess.
Yeah. Because Assassin's Creed will have finished. People have forgotten about that game by then.
Yeah.
So when do you see the next
I really hope if they do that, it's not going to be with Kratos. I have a strong feeling that Kratos is going to die during this 3 games.
Yeah,
can you imagine? So, what about like Kratos dies in the next one and the kid takes over, but the kid has Thor's hammer then instead of Kratos' axe?
So this is really
Might
spoilery,
happen,
but
yes.
I think they're building up Atreus to become a bad guy.
Oh, of course, actually, yeah, you're right.
Like he's
Just because his
Loki.
name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just his name and like he throughout the game he gets really kind of cocky and when he starts to learn more about kind of who he is, he's a god and his powers and stuff. And he does kind of come around on that, but I've got to assume they're building up some kind of antagonistic relationship. I would think
At
that the
least
next one.
if a god kills Kratos, of course, that's gonna make him go out of his way.
Yeah, maybe you then become because no says is the kid Thor. Thor does appear right at the very end of the game, like in the cut just before the final credits. But no, the kid is Loki, which is a bit like I don't know much about the lore, but I know Loki from just when I've watched Thor
Marvel.
from Marvel, yeah. And it's like
So he's from Jotunheim, isn't he? Apparently.
So yeah, and so Loki is Thor's brother, right? In the mythology, I don't really understand what happened with all the timey-wimey stuff where the giants like knew what was going to happen because it's all on the walls. They kind of they predict all this shit with Kratos, and Kratos sees like a hidden scene that he doesn't show his son. But why? How is it that they knew all of that? And why did she call him Loki? Because he's not like he's Kratos' kid, so I just don't understand why he's Loki. I guess, but the implications of that.
This is half.
Yeah, but it didn't they say that like his name was his other true name, but for the giants he was called Loki.
I think the mother wanted to call him Loki, and Kratos wanted to name him Atreus.
It's like having a native name and like a family name.
Do you think he's named after Loki or he is Loki? I think
he is.
He is Loki. It wouldn't make sense if he's
like the powers that he's got, like
yeah. But what
with
but Loki's like
animals
betrayed
and stuff like that.
Loki betrayed Thor. So is Thor really going to be the bad guy in this next game? What if he becomes?
Yeah, I think so.
What if
Like
he teams up?
He's a cock. Like the way they painted out Thor in the first game, and pretty much all gods, like Thor's a grade A dick. Like those two guys, what is it? Like his cousins or something that you take on in this game. Again, just really hateable characters, just brutes. Yeah. So no, I think Thor will definitely be the big bad.
Yeah, but then in the next game Thor's the bad guy, so you're probably going to be fighting Loki and Odin in the final game.
I don't know. Like the way I see it is that the next game, Atreus is a little bit older, but it still plays the same. Whereas you're playing as Kratos, and then he's still kind of co-oping with you, but he's a little bit older. Maybe it kind of goes through that 3-year winter. So he's a teenager or whatever else, and then maybe the third game, kind of that's where they do the switch, where you kind of start playing as Kratos. Maybe Kratos dies halfway through. Is that my dog barking or yours, Ben?
It's not mine.
Okay. I think the third game will be then the transition where you go to playing as Atreus versus Kratos. I would assume, or they set them up for a big fight.
Nelson in the chat says, in the game, did you fight the big snake? You don't fight the big snake, but you fight inside the big snake. You get swallowed by the world serpent. And
so while we're talking about spoilers, apparently everybody online says that Kratos is the world serpent.
Okay.
So they talk about the world serpent got there because he was having a fight with Thor, and Thor hit him so hard that he traveled in time. And if you look at that mural at the end, the picture of Atreus holding Kratos, and there's a snake coming out of Kratos' mouth, as if he's becoming that snake, or at least giving birth to that snake, or something like that. So,
symbolic for the because Ragnarok is the end with the serpent and Thor.
Yeah.
So is Ragnarok the end of days?
Yeah, it's like Armageddon.
Because apparently people were saying that they were getting confused because the world serpent and what's the other one that's similar to the world serpent, like the Norwegian name?
Nidhogg.
Nidhogg. Apparently they're not the same thing. Really, it depends on which laws, but Nidhogg and the world serpent aren't the same. So you still might be cool if they start fighting or something. Nosk has to go. All right, see you later, Nosk. And yet, did Kratos bang a Norwegian girl to get lucky? Yes, yes, he did.
No,
No?
she was from Jotunheim.
Where's Jotunheim?
She was half giant man.
Oh yeah.
Explain the giant thing to me. So why, if she's a giant, why is she normal sized?
Yeah, because they talked about that during when they went out in the mountain. It's being a giant doesn't only mean that you're big. It's also just like it's a kind, it's a species. So some giants were big and some giants weren't.
Okay.
But then yeah, they talk about it's the last of the giants. But then right at the end, you're facing a giant. Or is that one that was just brought back to life? Or
Freya's bringing him back to life.
Yeah,
just
it was Freya's
so fucking epic.
magic.
is it true that Freya?
I didn't understand that first, but it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really cool. Melon, where did you? Because you were a little bit concerned about the kind of boss fights and how they're different to the previous games. When you finish it up, what did you think of that?
It's still. I didn't like the bosses in this one. It was okay. It was okay and stuff, and it doesn't bring the whole thing down. But I just would really like some big epic fights with.
Some more like the dragon.
Yeah, but like that one was just too easy. With how to do it, I don't know. You know, in the old games, it's just like Bayonetta. Press circle for this and do that and that, and it's all automation. You don't do that much, but it feels really epic, and you just sit there and spamming everything. And I don't know. It's just a nice way to feel like a god. You feel overpowered. Now you didn't feel overpowered at all. It was, I don't know. But it was still good, but it wasn't God of War for me.
Have you faced any of the, what are they called again? The
Valkyries.
Valkyries, yeah.
Yeah, you were surprised because I did a Valkyrie before the end.
Yeah, no, I tried to face one before when I was like level 2 or 3, and I was like, oh, okay, this is. As soon as I got the axe to enter one of those seal chambers, I went in and I got my ass handed by one of them. I was like, okay, I'll come back a bit later.
I did kill on first go, but I played on easy.
I switched to easy halfway through actually because I thought I'm a god. I want to be powerful, so I switched to easy and like halfway through. Just yeah, like it's a bit. I want to play like a boss, like a god.
But those Valkyries, if the bosses were like that, I would love the boss fights because the Valkyries was awesome.
What do you think?
Really
to
hard.
What do you think to that last one?
Oh, that last fight. It was just one of those things where it was kind of the last thing that I wanted to do in the game, and I knew I was going to set it down, and I just could not do it, and I got it down to like a tiny bit of health a couple of times. And it just to the point where I was like, actually, I might just delete the game now. But I kind of had another go at it, managed to get through. I was a little bit disappointed with the kind of narrative payoff.
Okay.
I thought that there would be like, I don't know, it would unlock some kind of cutscene, but it's not really. It's just the same as when you kill other Valkyries. You know, the spirit comes out, has a word with you. It does reveal that Freya's behind all the kind of Valkyries being poisoned or whatever it is. You know, kind of being controlled.
Okay.
Which is cool. But there's no like. I feel there's some cutscene with Freya going to find her Valkyrie wings. But I don't know. Maybe if that's dialogue or something that I've missed.
Somebody told me that Freya was the final Valkyrie.
No, so the final Valkyrie, kind of just the spirit comes out and she just tells you that Freya is the one that's controlled them all to do what they're doing.
Okay.
So she's just the queen of the Valkyries, but she's been subdued by Freya.
All right. How strange. All right. Well, maybe I won't do that. But well, you never know. When I go back to it eventually.
But I only did one Valkyrie, so I don't know.
Yes,
but I
yeah.
did like that fight.
If you care about like maximizing the equipment and stuff, the big reward that you get for it, I think it's the last piece to upgrade your axe. So if you want to max that stuff out, you'll need to do it. But realistically, if you finished it, why would you need to do that stuff? I guess. And the same with the arena trials, which I really enjoyed. Actually, I thought they were really cool. The arena stuff. So So what's the hell place? No, it's not the hell place, is it?
No, it's
Like the fiery
Muzzleheim
one.
or something.
Yeah. So
Okay.
where you do the kind of challenge arenas?
I haven't done that.
No.
No, it's
So
an optional place. Yeah.
there's a whole area that looks like Mordor, and you there's like 6 arenas, I think. And they're just different types of challenges. Like one of them is you can't get hit. Another one is kill X amount of enemies within a certain amount of time. There's another one where it paints a circle on the floor, and the only kills that count are ones in that circle. So you need to control the enemies within the circle and stuff like that. You go run it once, and then you get the final upgrade for the blades, and then you can go through it again. It's a harder difficulty, and it really brings that combat stuff out, and you can repeat it as well, which is cool. That they've managed to build because I really enjoy the combat in that game, and it's cool that there's always something there along with the kind of the roguelike thing as well. There's always something that you can go and kind of put some battle time into.
Are there some that are really frustrating, or was it always achievable? Because there's one where you can't get hit or something.
Yeah, so the can't get hit one is that's probably quite frustrating because if I can't remember how long the timer is, but say it's like 5 minutes or something, and if you get right at the end and then get hit, boom, it's over. But I thought they were good. They were fair challenges, and they kind of show off the combat system a little bit. And if you go in there at a reasonably high level, you pretty much just mop up anyway.
Yeah, I got up to like the second one and then I left it. But do you get an achievement if you finish the second, like if you repeat it? Because it's a cool game.
You just get.
Yeah.
So the second time round, it's just all about materials. So it's a slightly harder challenge. But as you kind of go through the treasure chest that you're opening, you're getting materials that you'll need to upgrade armor and all that kind of shit. It's really weird in this game how like deep all the upgrading stuff is. Like there's really no need for it in the game. Really,
No.
It's kind of cool in terms of customization, but it's just so fucking much of it. It's such a weird thing when there's no end game for this. But it's still got gear in there that you need to fucking grind loads of things to upgrade and max out. It's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah. Also, don't you think the XP, they just throw XP at you? I never ran out of XP, or like I think I've got 30, no, maybe 40, 50,000 XP right now. But I don't have I don't know if it's blades are not level 5, or it might be my hammer that's not level 5. I've got to go and do the Muzzleheim trials, I think, for that, so I can get it to be tier 5.
Okay.
What do you think? One thing I really like about this is how few characters there are in the game. Like, and all the characters are really fleshed out, and you see them again. And what's the name? Brock, and what's his brother called?
It's been too long since I played it now.
Yeah, I know. Well, his brother.
So the Trader Brothers, yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, but I really don't know. They were really like they had their own personality, and it was
personality
great written.
Shopkeepers in an RPG game. There's a shopkeeper with a personality and a story that you're really interested in, and I was like,
it was a lovely little side story, like them hating each other and then eventually coming back around. He was really predictable, but he was like you just forget about it, and then you'd end up in a shop situation, and then a little cutscene with them, and a little bit more story, and he was nice. He was well written. I thought it didn't annoy me. I didn't want to skip it.
No, and I thought speaking of things that weren't annoying, the kid was great. I just love how he's probably one of the best kids in a video game. Like how useful he's there. He's saved my ass so many times. And just being able to bash square, and he'll attack whoever you're attacking, or you can hold square while you're attacking someone, and he'll do like a giant. I like the one where he shocked everybody, just had loads of shock arrows out and would stun people, and you could just go and. Because I had like a challenge where I was against these 2 werewolves, and they were 2 levels higher than me, so it was really difficult. But I managed to get them, like after about an hour of trying. I didn't get any like decent reward. I was just wanting to hone my skills, but he was really, really useful in that.
Yeah, I maxed out his bow. Was the first thing I maxed out because it was the only thing that didn't require like high stats for it to work. So and it made the game really easy when you have it maxed. So
yeah. What did you? Because I like how you can find like specials for him to do. Whereas there's a pack of dogs, one of them, and then there's some that's birds that are flocking down.
And you can also level up those.
Yeah.
So I had 4 dogs at the end.
Yeah, I don't think I can remember leveling them up. I feel like I've missed some stuff.
Yeah, there's so much stuff. It's a lot of stuff that you don't need, but it's cool that it's there. I don't know.
What do
It
you think?
didn't do anything special for me. It's just there.
What do you think to Niflheim going and doing like the randomly generated maze?
Can't remember that.
Oh, maybe you haven't been there yet.
I think that the so you've got the treasure chests there, which are obviously useful. There's really good materials in them, so I didn't mind grinding for those. But then you've got 3 fights there, like void rips or whatever they're called, that you need to unlock. And I think they're like 10,000 points, 15,000 points, 20,000 points. It takes a long time to get fucking 20,000 points doing that thing, and it's the same enemies on repeat, and you're just going around the maze. Like I haven't done that, and I'm not going to. I'd like to see those fights. Apparently they're difficult fights, but I can't justify. It probably only take me a couple of hours, I think, but I just really can't be fucked to do it. I've done enough grinding in there just to open the treasure chests. The thought of having to get another, what is it, like 45,000 points when you get like 2,000 a run.
Yeah.
That's not for me. But I like the fact it's in there, and it's like the scores for this game wouldn't have been any different whether that thing was in there or not. And just the fact that it's in there shows how robust the game is. There's just so much bloody content for what was supposed to just be this linear action combat game.
I heard some people are complaining that it's too short.
Well, the game.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't feel that at all.
No, me neither.
For me, it was perfect. It wasn't too long, but it wasn't too short. Just right.
And you kind of control the length. Like I think it's really, really good at. I think it's really good
It gives
at.
you option to do optional stuff all the time. It's nagging for you to do it, actually.
Yeah, you get the line from Atreus. Why don't we go explore and all this kind of stuff? And I think it's up to you how much you want to pad that. Like I padded it a little at the start, and then when I realized the Metroidvania element of it, I was like, well, I might as well wait until I've got all the tools, so that when I am exploring, I know that I've got the verb set to be able to open everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely didn't feel it was too short. I thought it was impressively long, considering the presentational value to keep that up over. It's annoying that there's no clock in the game. I'd really like to know how much time I put into it.
As
far as I can tell, there's no
way. If it's
it's annoying.
Okay, I guess you can watch your save or something.
The save's just got like the time that you've set, like as in the time of day that you've saved. There's no like overall clock, which really annoys me. I wish this is supposed to be a spoilercast. We're just whinging about PlayStation, but I wish it had some system level counter like the Switch has. So I'd like to know how long I've wasted on games.
Yeah.
So, what else about the story do we want to rip out?
DLC? There should be DLC, like expansion, because they've got. There's a couple of places left on the. When you go to the hub where you can change world. There is.
That's a good feel.
There's like 2 or 3 that obviously you'll probably use in the next game, but why don't they have the? I really think those. The dungeon Niflheim and Muzzleheim or something like that. Like any other developer would have put that as DLC. I think. It reeks of kind of here's a random dungeon, random level. Like pretty much the Division has that. It has the underground section, which is you just going and doing runs that are of these randomly generated levels, which is pretty much what Niflheim is.
Yeah, it's not. It just isn't Sony's strategy right now. They're going for these big prestige games. I just want to give you as much value for your money as they can and make it like a really marquee experience, I guess, which I appreciate. It's definitely a lot different to the EAs and the Activisions of the world in terms of how they market their games.
Yeah.
I think now when you see the Sony Entertainment Presents, whatever is that black screen, it's turning into like the Nintendo seal of approval. You just know it's going to be a good quality game.
Yeah, we'll see if Detroit's any good.
Yeah, is that a Sony?
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see a few more weeks.
I also liked in the game how, because there's a lot of stuff we don't know about the mythology, of course, and like in so many like books and movies and also games, they go out of their way to explain stuff, and it makes the story fake in a way. But like here, it was like it is like this. Deal with it, and like also some like with Freya when Balder dies.
Mm.
It's like she's gonna be angry and everything, and you feel like, oh, now we're fucked. She's gonna come after us straight away. But the head says like, she's a god. These people don't have the same. They don't think about time like we do because we're mortal.
Mm.
So just give it time. She's gonna look at this from a whole nother
Angle.
yeah, because of that. And it's like, it's just well told. It's no like drama that you don't need. It's just really well written.
I saw people who were complaining about women in the game, especially that Freya then becomes this kind of she's about to be badass, but then she's just like she's just plays as a mother, and apparently that is the lore, like that is the Norwegian lore, is Freya is Balder's mother, and like she's really overprotective of him, and that's that is the lore. It's not something that they've just developed for the game. I also saw.
Yeah,
I
I think in a game with such a limited, like purposefully limited cast as well, you can't really expect them to be writing characters just for social justice purposes, I guess. Like there's these, like you said, these characters have lore to them. They're not there to be a diverse cast for the sake of diversity.
Don't listen to the Waypoint Spoilercast. Somebody in there.
I promise you I won't.
Somebody who was on there who I don't recognize as I don't recognize them. It wasn't one of their regular cast, but they claimed that Kratos was teaching Loki fascist values by telling him not to put emotion into things.
Right.
It's a fucking character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm done with Waypoint. I mean,
And also,
it's in ancient times when
And if you play the 3 first games, it's like Kratos can't be any other way from what he's been through. It's like for me, this is the perfect old Kratos.
Yeah, I was quite happy because it seemed like God of War, because it was so good, kind of got away. There was no kind of scandal around it, at least in the mainstream, as far as I could tell. Nobody really was piping up saying we've got an issue with it because of X, Y, Z. But I did do a little Twitter search. I just googled God of War problematic, and there are people who think that the game is problematic, but they're minor voices. There's nobody in the mainstream really saying that there's issues with it, thankfully.
No, and I was mentioning because I was listening to Giant Bomb like the first week it came out, and they just seemed so negative about it for me. Like they were complaining about all the tiny little faults, which it's not perfect, but every fault they were really bigging up. But then I listened to the latest one, and it's like they were playing a different game. They're just, I think Jeff kind of likes being negative on there. But
I think when that podcast came out, I think he was on the very tail end of just universal acclaim, and I think they probably just didn't want to just add to another voice saying, "Oh fuck." It's like when we started talking about it, like I thought I really fucking love this game. It's one of my favorite games in recent memory. But every time somebody asks me if it's good, I'm like, yeah. Like, what more is there to say? There was over a week between the game reviews kind of releasing and then the game actually being released. It was universal acclaim. There's nothing left, I think, critically to say about it.
Some records in sales.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
It's the fastest selling PS4 exclusive, I believe. So it did 3 million in 3 days. Most games would kill to sell 3 million in a lifetime.
Yeah, in a lifetime.
I think it's only second to GTA, isn't it, on the PS4?
It's not exclusive though, is it?
No,
No,
I'm not
it's-
saying, but it's only second to GTA.
Overall, you mean?
Yeah, including
Okay,
online stuff.
yeah.
Well, that's impressive then. If you think about like all the third party stuff,
Oh,
like Call of Duty and
but
stuff like that, I would
means
have
they're
thought.
gonna make all fucking 9 games.
But
I don't like when they do things like that.
Yeah, and if
I wonder how long it'll take them to get this next one off the ground, because like they've got the engine there, but like this was such a purposeful, really well crafted game. I wonder if if Cory Barlog will be pushing for another 5-year cycle, or I would assume
If it's gonna be on PlayStation 4, they have to do it pretty fast, I guess.
This could be the
I just think
system
it will
seller for
be.
the next one.
Yeah, so the way I see it, my guess would be that it's an early PS5 title, not launch, but like within the first 18 months
Mm.
of the console. And I think you see either at launch or nearer to it, you see like assuming that PS5 is completely backwards compatible with PS4, which I think that it will be, you see some kind of awesome patch for God of War to bring it up to current, like at the kind of PS5 type graphical, proper 4K and 60 frames a second and all that kind of stuff to come in line with the second game. And then you finish that trilogy off on PS5, I would guess.
It's just interesting what they're going to do.
Are you
after that.
guys gonna play the old games?
No, I don't think I will.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't know. It depends if there's like I'm struggling for games to play. It could be quite interesting to get to know the lore because there were lots of things that hark back to like when you got the blades, and then he talked about then I think is Zeus actually in it? Or yeah, when he
In the
kills him.
first, yeah, he's the last dude you kill.
No, I mean isn't he? He's in this game, isn't he? As like a ghost.
Yeah, but he's like in his memory in hell.
Vision.
Who's the girl?
Yeah.
Who's the girl? Yeah, who's the one that came on the boat with you?
That's
His wife.
Athena.
Okay. Oh yeah, it was. And
That's Zeus' wife.
that was one of my favorite parts of the game. In fact, my favorite part of the game was when he told his son that he was a god. Like they had a really nice boat ride.
He was just bubbling up for so long, and I was just like, just tell him, just fucking tell him.
They didn't drag it out too long.
He
I thought
does
it
it
was
in such
great.
a matter of he does it in such a matter of fact way as well. He's like, I am a god. Da, 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 da. I da, 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 da. Just gives it all of it in like a minute, and it's just so cool.
Mm.
And the kid takes it well.
But the thing with the first games was that Arimus or something was the god of war, and he wanted to make the perfect warrior in Kratos, and the way to do that was to give him a lot of rage. So he was doing something with Kratos' mind and made him so angry that he killed his wife and son or daughter or something.
Is that what he did in the game, or is that just the law?
Yeah. No, that's the story. And no, it's like the pre-story of the first game.
Hmm.
And then he talks with Athena to find out how he can kill this god, because Kratos is immortal. He wasn't born a god. So then he becomes the first mortal to kill a god, and then he, for the balance, he have to become the god of war. So then he becomes the god, and after that he understands there's a big hierarchy, and all the gods are basically shitheads, and they just use humans as pawns in their, because gods are bored. So then he figures out, I'm going to kill all of them, and
Yeah.
that was his task.
Are there any good gods in these games? Or any of them nice?
There is
World
some gods that
Serpent.
helps him most of the time. That helps. Serpent isn't a god actually.
No, unless
But,
it is.
but
What's
I
what
can't
about-
remember. But there is some gods that helps him get better equipments and stuff. But it's mostly by him.
Does he not kill them?
He kills most of them.
What about Mimir? Isn't Mimir a god?
Mimir?
The one that the head attached to you?
Oh yeah, I don't know all the gods in Northern mythology.
No, but the
Yeah,
one that was.
I say he's immortal. They had to do magic to bring him back, didn't they? But he was built into that tree.
Or was he
Yeah.
trapped
Doesn't
in
seem
there?
like yeah, he seemed like he was.
Yeah, he was a god because he couldn't get killed. He was just trapped
Yeah.
in
I
eternity.
thought he was
That's
great.
like a really Greek.
He was hilarious as Mimir.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool character they made, and he'll definitely be in the next one. He's the type of character that when it comes to them like announcing the next game, you could imagine like the trailer starting and then just hearing his voice, and people then being like, "Oh shit, it's God of War." I think it's that type of character. People will remember him.
He'll be him telling us a story while they're on a boat.
It's
or something.
Dexter from Jack and Dexter.
No, that's a game I want to see a remake of. Now I'm really looking forward to the next one, but I'm happy to like sit back for a bit and wait a few years. I'm not in a massive rush for it. even though Thor does look
I'm
awesome.
really curious if we're gonna kill Freya in the next one. If that's gonna be like the first god we kill, and then at the end with Thor.
Yeah, we've got Freya, Thor, Odin left to kill. Probably his son, maybe. Do we think he'll kill Loki?
Might.
Or Loki
No,
kills
but
him.
if anything, Loki is gonna kill Kratos, I guess.
Yeah. Isn't that what happened in the? Isn't that what happened at because right at the end when they go and see the, like the imagery of what's gonna happen, because obviously Freya predicted everything. Then what was it? Right at the end, Kratos dies. Like, doesn't he?
Yeah,
in
Kratos
that
is
image?
supposed to die when Ragnarok happens.
I'm trying to bring up that image. Let's see if I can bring it up.
And like one of the tiles is missing as well, so we don't actually get the end of that story.
No.
Oh, true.
No, I can't see it on here. I'm just clicking on. No. God of War. Not really.
Game, just while you're doing that, the game is just full of these cool little details. It's, like every other day, something's coming up on Reddit or Twitter where somebody's noticed something, and one that I read today was these hands that are on the trees.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I think so. Kurtz's wife has put her hands on these trees, marking which trees for him to chop down, and apparently the trees that he chopped down broke the kind of magic barrier that was protecting their home.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely like a feel in this game that the wife kind of pushed them in this direction. Like it wasn't like you kind of feel like you're kind of selfish sending them to like the highest point in all the realms. Like you put them through a lot of fucking. You could have just got scattered in that forest, really. But I think she obviously knew because she's a giant and they predicted all this stuff. I think she knows what they're destined to do, and this was the way to kind of push them in that direction, and for kind of Kratos to build a relationship with his son and be honest with his son, and kind of kick off this legend, I guess. It's kind of a weird low key kind of start to this trilogy. Like if you think about the whole premise of it, just them going to scatter some ashes. There's no like real urgency to it.
How nice is that?
You have some cool fights and stuff, but they're all kind of minor lore characters. These people that you're taking on, and it's only at the end you see Thor, and that's when shit starts to feel real.
How awesome is it that you've got an RPG where you can actually do side quests without thinking, I should really be doing the main quest because I'm in a rush. Like that woman's dead; she's not going anywhere. You could do it in 5 years' time. It doesn't matter. All he does wants to scatter some ashes, and he ends up having to like kill gods. I'm just seeing an image of that bit, where he dies. And you're right. Yeah, there's like a piece of that one missing, but that snake thing that's coming out, it's coming out of Loki's mouth and his. So it's like it's coming out of his. It looks like it's coming out of his Kratos' stomach, maybe, but also it's coming out of Loki's as well. It'll be interesting to see what that is. It is the world serpent.
Yeah.
What, they both become it or something? I don't know.
It's just symbolic, so they might just be like the key to start the Ragnarok when Thor is dead.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because it's coming out of Thor, but Thor in this it's coming out of Kratos, but Kratos is dead there, like some kind of word, but I don't know what that word means. Maybe it's Ragnarok.
But I would recommend actually playing God of War 3 on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, because you can.
If you have the chance. Yeah.
Does it fill up the backstory?
It's yeah.
Because 1 and 2 I can play on the PS3 as well, but how long are they?
And also 12 hours, I guess. But you don't need to play the first 2 ones. You can either just watch some stuff on YouTube or really fast just get it, and because the third one it's the one that looks great and also have really nice in-depth gameplay.
Yeah. Did you play the third one, Jordan?
I haven't finished it, but I do own it, and it's good.
just for the first boss, it's good.
It's epic, absolutely epic.
All right. Anything else we want to talk about with this?
probably gonna remember stuff after the podcast.
Yeah. Follow us as well on Biggest Bennis1 on Twitter, Jordan Reese, JRDN Reese, Alan Mannon, and we do talk, although we can't really talk about it on Twitter. So I don't want to spoil
No.
it for people.
That's not allowed.
No. But how amazing, how did you get a little bit emotional at all during the game?
So many times.
It
It really got me, especially when he told his son that he's a god, and
Me
they
too,
did
yeah.
that boat thing out of the cave.
Yeah.
I was like, because it wasn't anything they said that was so sad. It was just the way they finally interact with each other.
Mm. Yeah,
It was,
Kratos,
I don't know.
the interaction throughout the game changed, doesn't it? Like at the beginning, he's just really like, "Boy, you idiot! Why you do that?" And then it got better and better, and Kratos got more. Like kind of, he felt like he had to be like a father more to help his son, because his son was going a little bit off the rails. I think he was like, "Oh, I need to maybe behave a bit."
Yeah, after that turn, the Loki becomes a shit
Yeah.
face and and talks
Yeah,
down.
he was
on
really.
humans
I was
and
just.
stuff.
I was hoping the Kratos would just hit him at some point.
Yeah,
I really wanted him just to fucking like punch him in the face.
but it clearly bothered him. You could just in the whole, because he didn't say much. It was just every time his son said something stupid. So it's like, okay, this is going to be a big clash at the end here. And I say, yes, it did, and he did learn a lot of stuff. So
I like before, a lot of people were saying, "Who's gonna die? Is it gonna be Kratos or the boy who's gonna die?" And neither of them.
that's just the thing they said. It's just like the Last Guardian.
Yeah.
Where it was the
I
not
haven't
gonna
finished
spoil
it.
that game though.
Oh, that amazing game! I'm definitely gonna finish at some point. Definitely. Maybe.
That game is just made for the end.
Yeah. Oh well, maybe I'll watch a trailer of it. What things would you say are bad about it? Give me something that you didn't like about the game.
Well, from a story perspective or
Anything.
anything?
For
I
me,
think-
it was the enemies and the boss.
That's one thing I loved about the enemies. That I mean, yeah, maybe not the boss, the enemy, like the bosses, but the enemies just, you had to do something different for every enemy, especially at the start. Like there was some that you had to really throw your axe at. There was some where you had to use the boy to stun first before you hit them. There was some that had like so much armor that you had to like really just hit a couple of times and then leap back and wait for them to slow down. I love the variety and how you had to kill them. And after playing games like Destiny and other types of games where it's just the same person, you just go and shoot a bit, and then move away. I love the variety in that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I thought
I
from a storytelling perspective, I think he was perfect.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I would change about it. I think for me
It's
right
the
now, it's
best
a bit
written game ever, isn't it?
potentially. I think so. Yeah, in terms of a character study, that you like, there's nothing else to point to. It's not even just it's not just saying that this one is a step above the others. There's no other video games that have really done this. Spend 20 or 30 hours slowly building up these characters, and you have these, and you got this single camera pan, so you totally constantly feel like you're kind of connected to everything that they're going through, and you really relate to these characters. And then when something goes bad or they have an argument, it feels really dramatic. It feels really kind of noteworthy. So yeah, from a storytelling perspective and the world that they've created and the excitement that they've built in me, at least in terms of what the next game could be and the game after that, I think just incredible. 10 out of 10 stuff. I mentioned my minor gripes. I feel that the kind of upgradey stuff is really, really bogged down. I think there's kind of too much of it. I don't think for a game like this where there's no new game plus, there's no real end game content to it. I'm like, sure, there's some challenges and stuff you can go do, but you don't need to necessarily do those after you finish the game. There's a little bit too much of it for me, and I feel it's a little bit clunky. And I think they could definitely narrow that down. I hope they just don't feel that for the next one they need even more of that stuff because it's a sequel. I think that I definitely
You can have it if it doesn't if they don't take resources from the main thing.
Yeah,
it's okay.
That's the thing. I don't think it detracts in any way. This is a surprisingly challenging game, considering they sold 3 million units in 3 days, and they must have known they were going to do decent numbers on this. To make the game on normal difficulty is challenging. So if you go to the story difficulty, what actually changes is does enemy behavior change, or is it just less health, or what?
You did more damage,
Yeah.
You do more
and they
damage.
did less damage. Yeah, I guess that's it.
I heard
It wasn't any like that's the thing I liked about the Valkyrie boss and stuff, because it was still really hard. The boss, no, the Valkyrie was still really fast and stuff. When I had it on easy, it wasn't any difference there. It was just the health bar.
I heard
So,
that in
that's
the I heard that in the top difficulty, like enemies level up as they're fighting you, which sounds
Wow.
As they're
interesting.
fighting you.
Yeah, like during fights they level up and stuff. Which sounds
Yeah,
interesting.
I hadn't. Like if there was a new game plus to this, I probably would go back and start on the hardest difficulty and kind of just slowly play through it over a few months. But there isn't the option to do that, and like I've said before, I don't think that you can do a new game plus with this game unless you do kind of a kind of not a real new game plus where you kind of go back to the start, but they take away a lot of your abilities, which is kind of pointless. So yeah, for me, it was just all that kind of gamey stuff that's in there. I think it was a little bit overboard, didn't necessarily need it. But other than that, and that's like I said, it doesn't even impact the game in any way. And then for a lot of people, I imagine that's a plus, because they want to kind of tinker around with that stuff. And I do as well. I like customization. I like upgrading my characters, but it always felt a little bit opaque. I never really knew what I was supposed to be doing with that stuff and how to kind of min max it correctly.
I like upgrading and stuff, but I don't know if it's just me getting old, or maybe just because I'm streaming and I don't really have time to go and look at it in detail. But I like it to be like upgrading fine, but I like it to be a bit simple, a bit simpler than what it is. And you can upgrade your axe, but you also can upgrade your armor, but it goes up to this level. So you're gonna buy something, and you're not quite sure if the thing you're buying is actually worse than what you've got, but you could level it to something higher. That got a little bit confusing.
Last of Us did it perfectly, if you ask me.
I can't remember how they level up.
No,
It's quite
just
light in that, isn't it? Just a few. There's a lot
it was
less.
a natural level up on everything you had through the game.
Yeah, no, I mean people like that, but yeah, when it gets too complicated, like Divinity: Original Sin 2 is another one where it's like, oh my god, there's so much leveling up you can do, and you're not quite sure, and it adds a point.
But you know what you're getting when you go into a game like that. I wasn't like God of War. I wasn't expecting fucking 7 screens of skill trees. And...
the first few hours of me playing that game, I was like, oh, you've got a point. I've got enough XP, but then I've also got this other kind of XP that I'm not sure what it is, but it's not XP, and I had no idea most of the time. Like the first few hours I was playing that game, I had no idea what that was upgrading doing. But I was like, well, I'm managing to kill them. I don't need to do whatever it's asking me to do yet. It's only when you start dying.
When I play games like that, I just hold on to everything. I'm not spending any points because I don't want to do it wrong. So I end up the game's over and I have like 1 million points left.
Yeah, same me with Zelda. Breath of the Wild, say, oh, something good, I'm not going to use it. Something good, I'm not going to use it. Might need it later.
I guess to kind of sum up what I'm getting at with that stuff, for a game that's so, I think, brave about the way it presents itself, and it's got this vision, and it wants to keep you in that world, and it's that single cut, and everything's really kind of well realized. For them then to integrate loads of mechanics, which mean you have to spend hours staring at a screen. That for me, that's kind of counterintuitive, and I think that they could have followed through in the same way with that stuff as they did with the rest of the game, and they could have been a little bit more kind of forward thinking with it and said, you know what, it doesn't need to be that traditional. Like the fact it's got the color coded equipment, for me, that's like I cringe every time I see that in a game now.
Destiny or Diablo
staple. Yeah.
Ace in the chat.
But like I said, minor gripe.
10 out of 10 says, I'm the same way. I don't like to spend points when I can level up skills. I have to change the way I play games, though. The skills were a great thing. I liked, but then there was some stuff like changing stance. I don't think I changed my stance once in that game, but there's like a whole skill tree on it. Do you know?
Yeah, I didn't really understand that stuff.
No,
I was basically just doing light attack, heavy attack the whole fucking way through.
But to be honest, the way I did the whole game was pressing square for the bow and throwing the axe. I did the whole game like that.
Yeah, you didn't even do the attacks and stuff. You just went and threw your axe at them. Oh, the axe is so good though. It felt amazing. I love killing people on the way back as the axe is coming.
And it was so fun doing it also. Yeah, but now when I get the blades and stuff, I use those as well though.
Oh, the blades are great. I love those. They're really good, especially in the Muspelheim when you have to kill like loads of people and they're all around you. It's just like smash those blades around a bit.
I know that when we had the podcast, I said that it's probably gonna be
Yeah.
more kind of weapons because all the other games had that. And Jordan was like, "No, it's just those, it's just axe."
I remember you saying, Melo, you're like, oh, I hope they've got something. It's like, oh, can't remember. You were saying something how you wanted something from the old game, or you wanted the old. You might have even said you wanted the old blades, or you wanted some extra weapons. And I'd got
Maybe.
past that bit, and I was like, oh no, I can't say anything. I can't say anything. And then when I knew you'd got them, I was like, yeah, now we could chat about it. Ace says, I'm a completionist, and that way of playing has prevented me from playing a lot of games. I think God of War, if you're a completionist, it's not going to take you that long. You could get 100% in, well, you could get the platinum on PS4 in like 40 to 50 hours. I don't think it's going to be that challenging. Ace says, I like the weapon introduction in God of War because certain enemies were weak to certain weapons and the player had to change. Yeah, that was what I was when I was mentioning earlier about how you fight different enemies in totally different styles. That was another thing, the one where you can't use your axe against them and you have to like physically put your weapon away and just beat them, which was really really good. Bayonetta's where you can just use.
But
any
it's
weapon.
like it's after you know that, it's not. It just becomes like a hassle. Like,
Yeah.
okay, no, it's that dude, I have to do that. Okay, I've done this a million times already.
Yeah. Ace says, I prefer
It's
when the game introduces a weapon as part of the plot and then teaches you how to use them. Yeah, which is what they do with the blades in this game. I think I just stuck with the blades after that. I liked using them to like
still
grab.
use the axe a lot, but yeah, it's just spam
Yeah.
light attack, and that's it.
The blades are great when you could just grab someone and pull them to you, and then you rip them in half. Some pretty cool moments in that.
The old games are just hack and slash all time. It's
Okay.
there is like a really good in-depth combination in the game.
Mhm.
Most people don't use it to just press square through the whole game.
Brilliant.
But also you can. It's like at least 4 different weapons in there, and you have to change all that.
In the chat, they say, well, if you go into your weapon screen and upgrade all the skills at once, there's no training on how to use them and stuff. Yeah, the one thing I liked about it is that when it shows you an image of what you're unlocking, which I like. I think Shadow of Mordor did that as well, so you can actually see what you're expecting. It's not just like, yeah, click here and you can upgrade your jump attack. And I'm like, hey, what's that? It actually show you how you did it.
And talking about finish, Ben.
No, I was about to say Devil May Cry. He said did it really well, but I was going to ask Jordan how that one is because he's played the remake, but we can do that after.
No, it's just like you guys talked about the Thor's hammer and stuff. In the old games, it's you use the weapon of Hercules, you use the chains of Hades. So I guess if you're gonna use Thor's hammer, that makes sense.
All right, I didn't know you could. You took the weapons off enemies because you didn't at all in this game.
And also the bow of Apollo or something. So
yeah, what about you then, Jordan? What? How is Devil May Cry the remake?
I don't know. I haven't played it.
I thought you got it free with Twitch Prime.
Yeah, I've got a lot of games I haven't played.
Oh. Yeah. Sorry.
Was that free with Twitch Prime?
Yeah.
I have Twitch Prime. How do I get it?
I think you can now.
Oh.
It's gone. All right. Yeah, it's gone. I think we're gonna leave it there. Gives us 10 to 15 minutes. Get ready for the normal podcast. So much talking today.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a jaw infection.
Well, at least it's from talking. So we're gonna we'll BRB for 15 minutes. We'll keep it on, keep everything on, but just have a BRB screen. And back for the normal podcast, episode 63 of the Click Play podcast. Andre will drag in, kicking and screaming, and talk about other games. No God of War talk.
So he's joining today?
Well, actually, I think so. Is he? He asked, didn't he?
I don't know.
It'd be a surprise. Did he say anything about it? No, so he hasn't spoken on there. Oh, no, he did. He asked what time it is for him.
Okay.
So, guess so. All right. Well, thanks very much for joining. If you I imagine most people are going to be listening to this on a podcast rather than live. because it's something I think you could be listening to. So if you've just finished the game and you listen to this, hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. For me, it's yeah, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. I think it'd be my first 10 if I were reviewing it. You as well, John?
Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10.
Melon?
Yeah.
30 out of 30. There we go.
Well, this year I will say Shadow of the Colossus is 10 and this is 9.
They can both be
Controversial.
10s if you want them to be.
I
not
like
Eurovision.
bosses.
Yeah, just imagine some Shadow of the
that's true.
Colossus style bosses in this game. That would have been pretty cool. I got one thing as well. I remember the first time I faced a troll and being like, "Wow, this is a really cool boss." And then I killed it, and it said, "Oh, there are 9 of them left to kill." It said, "Oh, you can unlock some extra XP if you kill 9."
Every
trolls."
9 you kill, I guess.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Guess that wasn't a boss. It just felt like a boss." But that's just because I haven't played the original God of War, so I'm not used to those. All right, so we will be right back in 15 minutes. If you're listening to this just for the spoiler cast, thanks very much for listening. And check us out, clickclickplay.com or Biggest Bennis on Twitch, Biggest Bennis1 on Twitter. Melamanen is on Twitch and on Twitter with that name. Jordan Reese is on Twitter, sending some abuse, sending some feminist articles. He will enjoy that.
Dick pics.
And that. You'll like them just as much. All right. Catch you in a bit. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.